Welcome to the engine room, also the basement. Here we have two Caterpillar 3208 single turbocharged engines, developing 320 horsepower each, but they generally run rather less than that. A couple of things you need to know about these engines just for your own day-to-day use. Primarily, that's how to check the oil. Each engine has a dipstick. Unfortunately, it's on the same side of the engine, so on this engine, it's on the inboard side here. I usually have some towels stuffed up here so you can keep your hands clean. Tear off a towel. Dipstick comes out quite a long way. And you'd have to look closely, but there are little scratch marks indicating upper limit and lower limit of oil. This particular mark is showing about a third of the normal operating range. Below the line is too low. One caution, never put in more oil to get it above the line. That is bad. Then if the oil is above the level that it's supposed to be, moving engine parts turn it into a froth and it really causes trouble. So never overfill the oil. The oil fill on this engine is relatively convenient. It's a little spin-out rubber plug, and you just pour the oil directly into this aperture. Again, please don't overfill. This is then stuck back in, twisted a bit so it doesn't come back out, and any spills need to be mopped up. You don't want that in your bilge. Opposite engine, starboard engine. The stick is exactly the same location, but now it's outboard. You pick it up again a long way. Sometimes you have to take this one all the way out to see it. And getting the light just right, you can see that it's just above the lower mark, again about a third. So these are not yet low enough to require refilling, but will soon require a quart or so of oil to get back into the operating range. You lower it back into its stick. This one fortunately can be filled from the inboard side. Again, just spinning the loosener, pulling the rubber cap out, watch your hand, filling from here, putting it back in. Coolant is from the top. Never open it when it's hot, of course, just like in an automobile. It'll boil over and burn you. But it comes out just like a standard automobile cap, downward pressure. You don't actually have to open it except to fill it, because the coolant indicator is this jug, and you can actually even fill it from there, but it has lines indicating cold, full, and low. So you fill this up when the engine is cold, that would be full and low, and it will drain by hose into the radiator as appropriate. Port engine has the same arrangement. Over on the far port bulkhead, not convenient to fill it there. I would obviously fill it here, but you can see the levels cold and low, and it's a little above half there, so it's fine. It's in the operating range. One other system you need to know about is the fuel filter system. Only if things are going wrong, but in general, if a lot of water got into the fuel, it would start to appear in these bowls. As you see, they're full of nice, clear red fuel, and they are sequentially filtering all of the fuel as it goes through. If you start to see a bunch of black-looking, mucky stuff there, that should prompt a service call, because if you overload both of them, the engines will have water in them and not run, which tends to spoil your whole day. So it's a good idea every day to just look at those bowls and make sure that those are not full of crud. These are similar setups for the generators, and as you see, they also are nice and clean. There's not something you need to deal with except to be aware of it, but that is the fuel filtration system. Okay. Is water filtration. These are the raw water intakes for each engine. The large bronze C box, I guess they are, with big filter baskets. They're glass or some kind of plastic, and you can see in there, if they're full of seaweed and other stuff, they start to limit the flow of water to the engine, and it will overheat. They need to be cleaned out if they are, in fact, full of seaweed. That's a little bit of a process because these are below the water line, and if you open them up, they will allow seawater in a great rush, and you will be uncomfortable. So you need, if you're going to deal with these things, to shut off the seacock. That is done right at the bottom of the hull. There's a T-handle. When it is crossways to the pipe, it is shut. When it is parallel to the pipe, as it is now, it is open. That seacock is open. If I open the lid on this drain, a lot of water would come in fast. So here's a basic daily routine that'll keep you from experiencing disappointment with engines going bad. Every day the oil needs to be checked, as we demonstrated. Again, oil sticks on the fronts of the engines and fills on the tops of the engines. Every day the oil should be filled but not overfilled if needed. Again, do not ever overfill an engine. Coolant, if it should be a problem, is measured at the plastic bins and refilled either from the refill on the top of the radiator or from the plastic bin. Fuel filtration, just a visual check. Make sure there's no black material gronk in the bottom of that bowl. And there's a set for each side. That's just a visual check. You would notify the company if there was an issue there. And then last is water filtration from the large bronze strainers, one for each engine. Again, recall, these are below the water line. If you open them up without first closing off the seacock that runs through the hull, you will get a lot of water in here. And if you don't do something about that, you will sink the boat. So don't do that. That's about it for our daily routine. One other note, it's good seamanship just generally to look down into your bilge, which is just below my feet through these teak gratings. They can be removed individually very easily to get access, but you'd like to see that there's not a lot of water down there. You also should notice that the bilge pump is on a lot if there is water, and you'll investigate that.